But there's some massive news coming out of France this evening. Ligue 1 are set to be relegated, Lyon. And joining us now to go through the story, French football oracle, Julien Laurens. All right, Julien?
Julien,
how are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, we're good, mate. We're good. What's going on here? Lyon, massive football club. What's happened?
John Textor happened. And, I mean, I don't know how Crystal Palace fans feel about him, but he almost cost them a place in the Europa League next season. But Lyon fans want him out of their club because since he took over, Jean-Michel Aulas, who is the historical owner and president of that club, who did so many great things between 1987 and 2019, when he sold the club to John Textor. Lyon were a powerhouse, not just in French football, but in European football as well, in Champions League. But since John Textor arrived and took over that club, it's been an absolute disgrace the way he ran that club to the ground, really, because to the point that being relegated now in the second division because your debts are so high and you can't actually offer a proper plan to just deal with it and deal with the money that you're losing season after season. When you sack managers, when you employ wrong people, when you sack director of football, all of that. And if they are in this position right now of being relegated, which we knew was coming because they were provisionally relegated back in November, with the French regulators saying, listen, you've got too many debts. This is not sustainable. You have to do something about it. But they didn't do enough about it. Now they will appeal and they might find a way. But even just now, this is a proper earthquake in French football.
you mentioned John Textor, and of course he has been huge news over here because Crystal Palace, of course, won the FA Cup. They were going to be in the Europa League, and the problem that John Textor had, he had to sell his shares. Am I getting the sense, Julien, that maybe Crystal Palace fans should be happy about this decision, that he has sold his shares?
Yeah, I mean, yes, because that guaranteed them a place in the Europa League.
Yeah, no, of course. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I meant just the way the club is moving forward.
Yeah. But John Textor had no power at all at Crystal Palace. We know that. The way the ownership was structured between Blitzer and Harris on one side and Parish on the other side. There was nothing for John Textor, despite having 43% of the shares. He only had 25% of control within the club. So he had nothing. So this is a bit different because at Lyon, he's got 100%, pretty much 100%. He does everything he wants. And the problem is, Jason, what he wants is never good enough because he's keep making bad decisions one after the other. Not just managers, because you can get the wrong manager and it doesn't work out for whatever reason. But for him, everything he does is just the wrong call every single time.
Lyon are a huge football club, right? I think of French football, I think of Monaco, I think of PSG, I think of Lyon, Marseille. Yeah. This is a massive football club. For the French FA to relegate them, I mean, they must be in dire straits. When we're talking about debts here and, making wrong decisions, what's the answer then? How do they get themselves out of this?
It's a good question, really, Jamie. I mean, their debt is around £1 million. So
sorry, how much? You cut out. How much?
200 million.
Right, so.
And in France, which you don't really have in the UK yet, is the regulator story that is the government in the UK is trying to implement and bring it. In France, we have it. It's just financial fair play. It's very clear. It's your accounts. It's black and white on paper. How much money you bring in, how much money you're spending. Is this sustainable? Is it not? They warn you first, and they say, listen, this is dangerous here. This is not good enough. You have to do something about it. So it's very close. It's very tight. It's very close. And this is for the best. Everybody has to go through it. PSG, Marseille, all the clubs that we mentioned.
Okay.
And from a Lyon point of view, they were there. They've been warned in November. They said if you don't get these things better, you're going to go down. Regardless of where you finish in the league, you're going to go down. And they didn't do enough about it. They sold Cherki to City for 40 million euros, and they thought, this is okay. We've done a good job. This is not enough. And that's why they are in this position. And again, they will appeal. So they might find another way, maybe new investors, a bit of money pumped into the club, things like that. But for now, it's a club in disarray. And we had Bordeaux not that long ago because of bad...
Oh, we've lost Julien.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Julien? Oh, we've lost him. I want to get him back because we've got some good... I want to talk to him about Bordeaux because Andy Carroll was there, I think, last year. And I don't know if they know if they went up. They're a massive football club, Bordeaux. And I follow Andy. He's a friend of mine. And seeing him like Bordeaux playing in like the 4th division. And he's like they filling out the ground. You're thinking, surely that doesn't help Lyon.
I don't know. I've got No, I just don't know what the question. Everyone's...
Is Julien back? Have we got him? Julien? Sorry, mate.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened.
No, that's right. We lost you. We're just talking about Bordeaux, and a friend Andy Carroll was there. Like, they didn't go up, did they, Bordeaux?
No, they didn't. They just missed out on promotion to the 3rd division.
So it's a massive problem, right? Bordeaux, again, massive football club. You go down that many the divisions. I know going down one division is bad for Lyon, but surely that's not going to help them.
No, you're right. And again, we go back to ownership and Gerard Lopez, who still is somehow miraculously still the board owner, ran that club to the ground. Poor decision, pretending there was money coming in when the money was never coming in, going down to the 2nd division. But then because the accounts were so dire, then relegated again to the 4th division this time, losing the professional status, having to go amateurs, losing the academy, having to get rid of a lot of people from the office and, people who work at the club outside of the football side of it. And the same could happen to Lyon. I don't think it will, because they are stronger still, despite John Textor. But just to be in this position for a club like them is ridiculous.
Yeah. I see Andy Carroll playing on some park pitches last season, celebrating goals. I'm thinking he's playing for Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's terrible stuff. The clubs we're talking about here, Julien, this can't be good for French football. You want, I know there's club, rivalry, and so there should be. But the reality is, if a league is to be its strongest, it has to have its biggest and most well-supported clubs in that division. The fact that they're not going to be there, some of these football clubs, it has to be to the detriment of Ligue.
Absolutely, you're right. And actually, we've been saying Lyon are a massive club. They're a massive club, and this is terrible for French football. It's terrible for Lyon. The fans are asking John Textor to get out of their club because for them, he's to blame. He's the only one responsible for this, and I agree. But yeah, it's terrible. This is, like we said, a powerhouse of French football, one of the top clubs in Europe in the years between 2000 and 2010, 15, really. So for them to be in this position is terrible. It's really a terrible news. And again, they still can appeal. I think they've got 2 or 3 different layers of appeal. So there's still hope for them and
Julien,
the fans.
What can these layers of appeal that you mentioned, what can they do? And what next for Textor? He's had to relinquish his shares at Crystal Palace. But what does this now mean for the future of Lyon? Should Lyon fans be genuinely concerned about the next season? The season after that, that they might or potentially could turn into another Marseille?
Yeah. No, you're right. I think they should be worried, really. And the layers, you can go with the appeal committee from the French regulators, so they will listen to you again. But it's very unlikely that they would go against the first decision that they took, right? So then you go to the appeal commission from the French Federation, which is slightly different. If that doesn't work, the last one you have is to go to a normal tribunal and go there like a labor tribunal, you say in English, or something like that, and you go there and you say, listen, they made this decision when we had a good plan to get our accounting better and accounts better, but they just need to find money, Jason, somewhere. But they were not able to find enough money between November and June. How can they find money between now and in 3 weeks? Who's going to invest in this club working with John Textor when it's such a disaster? I don't know. If you had 50 million, would you go with John Textor and save Lyon? I wouldn't. No. I don't think you would. So I don't know. Good luck with them, but I don't know who would come and get involved into this mess.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.